Mics are on. Hello. Hi,
Oh,
everyone.
wow.
Happy Monday. Welcome on into the pre-show before the free show.
Oh,
You're not doing much better over there either.
Don't do that yet, because I'm trying to
Ooh,
get
that's
the
pretty.
thing on there.
That's really pretty.
Oh, well, good. Let's ruin it with a logo.
Boo.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome into the pre-show before the free show. It was a weekend. It's starting to rain all around DFW right now. I think we should probably talk a little bit about the elephant in the room, which was what happened in Allen on Saturday, which God knows I don't want to talk about it, but feels like not talking about it's worse than ignoring it. No, that's the same thing. Not talking about it and ignoring it. Feels like not talking about it's worse than talking about it. It's a terrible, terrible story out of Allen. If you didn't hear, eight people were killed, 9 more sent to the hospital by a shooter at the Allen Premium Outlet Mall, including a 5-year-old kid was killed. Just awful.
Gut-wrenching.
And I'm not. One of my frustrations is that we have once again, as we have become very good at doing, not just in this country, but kind of worldwide, probably in the age of social media, we've been very good at like making it one thing or another. That there are people who say, well, it's the guns, we gotta fix the guns. And then there are people who say, well, no, it's not the guns, it's the mental health thing. And I just don't understand why it can't be both. Because it certainly seems like it is to me. Now, I'm just a caveman, right? I'm just a lawyer, an unfrozen caveman lawyer. But I just don't understand why it has to be one or the other. And I think that there are steps that we can take that we're choosing. At this point, it's a choice to not do anything. I think I hope we can all agree that this is a big problem. And we're the only country in the world that suffers from this problem, basically. This doesn't happen in, like, France. This doesn't happen in, like, Sweden or, other countries like that. It doesn't happen in Canada. So one thing, I don't want to talk about guns today, because that just gets people fired up, really and truly. I think that there should be measures taken, but you don't care. And so, and I also don't think that there's political will to do anything about that. But the deflection, not deflection, that's judgmental. I don't mean that. The counterpoint has been, well, we really need to take care of mental health. We need to do mental health, and really invest and make sure that people are getting the mental health help that they need. That if we will fix the mental health problem in this country, then we'll fix the gun violence problem. And I agree to a certain extent. I do agree. So what I want to hear is people standing up for universal mental health care. Because the only way this works is if everybody has it. Everybody has access to it, right? Or if you're rich or poor, it shouldn't be based on what's in your bank account for you to be able to go get the mental health that you need. If we are serious about tackling this issue, the gun violence issue, from a mental health perspective, then we all need to get on board with universal mental health care at extremely, extremely affordable rates or free. That's the only way out of it from that perspective. If that is, to me, the more I've thought about this weekend, if that is what we have decided is the problem, then that is the solution. It can't be this piecemeal, this, that, or the other. We just need to have universal mental health care. That's the only way, because otherwise, like, people are going to fall through the cracks. They're not going to get the help they need because they can't afford it. And then this is going to keep happening, and we're going to be right back at square one. So that, to me, is the real, in my opinion, is the real choice. Like, we can either get on board with universal mental health care, or then if you really want to protect the guns, then you're kind of out of options. Like, that to me is the real issue here. I think it's both. I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time. I think that we're the greatest nation that's ever lived, and yet we can't figure out this problem. And that's frustrating because it means that we have to live in fear. We have to, worry about going to a restaurant or a church or there's a guy with there was an armed security guard at my church this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, where are we living? I don't know. It really bummed me out. Anyway, hope you had a good weekend. Hit the Theme Expo. Pickle! Hit the arrow sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it's Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live on TexasFootball.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, all the places, or you'll listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local, mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She's the Duchess of the Dorks, fresh off of producing the broadcast of the 2023 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. She's Ashley Pickle.
Hi, friends. Yeah, we had a good time. I know we're going to talk about it later, but we had a good time
You
down
packed
there.
up your wagon.
I did. Yeah, we had all the wagons. We were able to get this whole studio into 3 little rolling things, so that way we didn't have to take a second trip. That
And
is
then
impressive, my friends.
We'll talk about the Hall of Fame coming up here in just a little bit. Today is Monday, May 8th, 2023. 199 days to Thanksgiving.
Let's go.
We're
within
folks.
under
We're
200.
We're getting there. Keep the faith. Happy birthday to the 33rd President of the United States, which is
33rd? Oh, God, I don't know. Is it your Taft buddy? No, he's way before that.
not way before, but he's before it. The only president from Missouri. Is that a help? Hint?
No.
Mizzou's mascot's named after him.
Something Tiger. It's not Tony. That's the... I don't know. Who is
He
it?
dropped the bomb on Japan.
I am not a history person. I'm not going to get
Harry
it.
Truman. Today would have
Oh,
been...
Truman the Tiger.
Yes,
Is it really Truman?
Truman the Tiger.
I don't know why I was
Truman's
thinking...
all over the place in Missouri.
I was thinking Todd.
They're very proud of Harry Truman up there in Missouri.
Okay.
That's their kind of like big. There's a lot of things. Truman State is the name of a college down there. They're big into Harry Truman.
Yeah, I am not a history buff.
It's kind of like,
I'm terrible
think
with
about
history.
it. But here's the thing. Like here in Texas, we have stuff named after the Bushes. We've got stuff named after
Johnson.
LBJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like 635 is called LBJ.
Yeah, I would have gotten gotten that,
If
but
you got a president.
I don't necessarily have my Missouri history facts
Yeah,
on lock. That's way up your alley.
As the kids would say, get good. It is episode 1,500, and as soon as you put up the lower third, I'll tell you.
56.
56.
86.
86.
Who knows?
1,586.
Who could possibly know?
On today's show, folks, we got headlines from across the state, including some transfers across the state and some big high school football coaching news. And then, back half of the show, Pickle and I are going to talk about what we did this weekend. We went down to Waco for the 2023 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We will talk about the party that went on in Waco coming up here at the back half of the program. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was the ghost of Betty White.
See, this is getting weird, and I love it.
R.I.P. to a good one. Daniel Agnew, Just Chad, and Andrew Christensen. Welcome in, fellas. Lady fellas. Bots.
Did Betty White die?
Yes. You didn't know that? That was a big deal.
I'm sure it was, but I don't know. I'm very bad at remembering if and when famous people are dead.
I am too. But
when did she die?
I don't know. Go on to headline. This is a very important call I have to take real fast, actually.
Betty White died in 2021. So, okay, I wasn't that far off. Anyway. Okay, let's get to some headlines from across the state of Texas. We're going to start in the FCS. Actually, no. Oh, wow, I'm so used to saying that. The FBS ranks, the newest FBS program in the state of Texas, Sam Houston. Sam Houston is moving up from FCS to FBS, and they have a new quarterback addition, and that is Grant Gunnell. Grant Gunnell, who is the all-time leader in Texas high school football passing yards, such a star there at Houston St. Pius X, is transferring from North Texas to Sam Houston. He's always looked the part, 6'6", 230. I mean, he looks like he was built in a quarterback lab out there. Amazingly, he still has 3 years of eligibility. It'll be his 4th career collegiate stop. He started Arizona in 2019, there for 2 seasons. Then he went to Memphis for a year. Then he went to North Texas before now. He's only thrown 5 college passes since 2020. They're hoping he's probably going to go in there and compete with Keegan Shoemaker for the starting spot there at Sam Houston. But a big pickup for the Bearcats as they get a new quarterback in their room in Grant Gunnell moving on to there. Texas State also picked up a big transfer commitment this weekend in Joey Hobart. Joey Hobart was an FCS All-American last year at Utah Tech. Utah Tech used to be known as Dixie State, and then they changed their name to Utah Tech. But he's from California. He finished last year with 1,249 yards and 16 touchdowns receiving. He was an FCS All-American as a sophomore. He actually finished 9th for the Walter Payton Award there in the FCS ranks. So there is a connection there if you're looking to say why Texas State for this young man, for Joey Hobart. The passing game coordinator for Texas State, their wide receivers coach and passing game coordinator, Craig Stutzman, was his offensive coordinator at Utah Tech. So now this is a pretty robust wide receiver room that G.J. Kinney is building there with Drew Donnelly, Marshall transfer Shadid Ahmed, and Incarnate Word transfer Cole Wilson. Now adding on to that is Joey Hobart, the FCS All-American there from Utah Tech. Our own Corey Hogue reports on TexasFootball.com that, and this is such like a Division III thing to worry about. It is May. He published this on May 4th. It's May 8th right now. Hardin Simmons is very close to finalizing their schedule. They Coach Jesse Burleson says they're looking for one more game to finish out the 2023 schedule. It says that they have 2 non-conference games scheduled. He reports that they've got 2 non-conference games scheduled against Albright and Wisconsin lacrosse, but they do need one more. He says they're looking at any and all possibilities for 2023 and 2024. Can you imagine if like Texas Tech was looking for a non-conference game right now? Like, it would be the only thing we were talking about is how are they going to fill out their schedule? But such is the case down there at the Division III level with Hardin Simmons. And so keep an eye on that. We will keep you posted on TexasFootball.com if and when. It'll be when. And by the way, we do have the email address for Coach Burleson on TexasFootball.com. That if you are a coach listening to this and you want to play Hardin Simmons, email him. We got the email address up on TexasFootball.com. They're looking for another non-conference game. To the high school football ranks we go. In the high school football ranks, there's some pretty big news there that Mineral Wells has made a hire. You may remember that Mineral Wells is the looking for a head coach after who left? I'm sorry, I can't find that right now. Anyway, they've been looking for a new head coach. They have found one in Burleson offensive coordinator Cody Worrell. Cody Worrell is going to be the next head coach there at Mineral Wells. They announced this on Thursday. He is the son of Chad Worrell, who of course was the coach at Brock and now at El Campo before moving on to other positions. Worrell was a star on the state title team there in Salina back in 2005. He went with him to El Campo, served as their offensive coordinator for 2020, and then has spent the past month on the staff at Burleson, where Worrell is now the head coach. So he's got his own head coaching job. Mineral Wells has hired Cody Worrell to be their next head coach. We mentioned the big news last week, kind of the sad news that Canadian was looking for a head coach. Chris Ketting was retiring due to some health issues. They have promoted their defensive coordinator, Andy Cavalier, to be their head coach. This is file this under not surprising at all. Andy Cavalier has looked like the head coach in waiting for a minute there. He, of course, is the father of Cameron Cavalier, who is their outstanding quarterback, and of course they've got outstanding quarterbacks in all throughout the Cavalier family. But their longtime defensive coordinator, Andy Cavalier, will be the next head coach of the Canadian Wildcats up there in the Panhandle. Brazosport has made a hire. Brazosport, you may remember, Mark Canapis was retired earlier in the offseason. They have hired running backs coach and special teams coordinator Richard Sincere to be their next head coach. He's been on the staff at Brazosport for the last 3 years. He was at Brazos Wood as their offensive coordinator before that, as well as at Galveston Ball. He has been in the coaching ranks for a while. You may remember he was a star at Sam Houston. He was an FCS All-American there. He held several offensive school records there as a wide receiver there at Sam Houston. But now he's going to be the next head coach at Brazosport, as they have hired. Brazosport has hired Richard Sincere to be their next head coach. Opening down in the Houston area, Fort Bend Elkins has come open. This is okay. We've now entered May. That's not breaking news. We've now entered May, and in May, you get this very unique kind of coaching change. And the very unique kind of coaching change is a coach retires and he knows it's probably too late for you to do this big, wide coaching search, so you'd probably just better hire the guy that he recommends. That's kind of what happens here in May, and we've got, in my opinion, I've been talking with Dennis Brantley about this. This is what's happening here. Dennis Brantley has retired from coaching after 30. He's been in Fort Bend ISD for the last 31 years. Previously a head coach at Fort Bend Marshall, but he has been part of the Elkins program since 2008. Got promoted to head coach in 2011. I would expect again. That they will move very quickly on this. Fort Bend, you may remember that their district has already hired the first ever head coach at their new school, Fort Bend Crawford, which is going to begin varsity play in 2024, and they filled a head coaching vacancy at Fort Bend. Travis is another opening there at Fort Bend ISD. Dennis Brantley has retired. Again, this to me falls under that category of, what are you going to do? Do this big, wide coaching search? Why don't you just hire the guy that I want? Like, it's kind of the leverage point that you have as a guy who's heading off into retirement is that if you wait until this moment, you can kind of force the hand of the school district. Again, in my opinion, I haven't talked with Coach with Coach Brantley. Maybe this falls under the same category, but actually the longest tenured coach in Dallas ISD has retired. Announced that he is retiring. Steve Pierce has been the head coach at Dallas Samuel High School for the last 36 seasons. He is a guy who has been a mainstay in Dallas ISD for a long, long time. Back in 2001, they earned playoff wins over Dallas Jefferson and Sherman before falling to Highland Park. And then, of course, in 1999, if you are a student of history, they pulled off one of the great upsets in Texas high school football history when they knocked off Highland Park in a by-district thriller, 17-14. He's a Skyline graduate. He played football at Tulsa. He's been an institution down there in Pleasant Grove for a long, long time. He's been the head coach at Samuel for 26 seasons. Now retiring. We certainly wish him the best. He finishes with a career record of 134 and 151. A long-time coach there in Dallas ISD. Steve Pierce has retired again. My guess, now Dallas ISD is a big school district, so they can move some guys around, but I would expect them to move relatively quickly, and I would expect them at least to stay within Dallas ISD, if not within Samuel High School. Brownfield has made a hire. Brownfield has hired Lubbock Coronado co-defensive coordinator Taherick Brantley to be their next athletic director and head football coach. He is a guy who's been on the staff there under Coach DJ Mam there at Lubbock Coronado for the past couple of seasons. He's a native of Lubbock. He is a graduate of Lubbock High. He actually was a track star at Texas Tech before moving into the high school football coaching world. Joined DJ Mann's staff in 2021 as co-defensive coordinator. And what's very strange, actually, is that the guy he's replacing, Aaron Flores, is now going to be the new offensive coordinator at Lubbock Coronado. So a little bit interesting there, a little bit of shifting around. But the new head coach at Brownfield is going to be Taherick Brantley, the former co-defensive coordinator at Lubbock Coronado. Finally, there were state qualifying tournaments for state 7-on-7 across the state of Texas. I believe there's only one. There's only one. The McLennan County SQT. That's Central Texas for those uncultured swine not knowing where McLennan County is.
How dare you?
I think it's like the Mart one. I think Mart
Yes.
hosts it. In any case, the two qualifiers. Lorena has qualified.
No, I think Lorena hosted it.
Was it Lorena? Okay, maybe. One of them. I mean, it's all McLennan County.
Yes.
All Central Texas. State qualifying round. Lorena will be back at state 7-on-7. They beat Robinson in the state qualifying round to qualify for state 7-on-7. And China Spring, the two-time defending 4A state champs, will be heading to College Station as well. They beat Palestine Westwood in the state qualifying tournament or state qualifying round. So we will see Cash McCollum and company down there at China Spring in College Station. Of course, we have complete coverage of the state 7-on-7 qualifying tournaments, and we'll have complete coverage of the state tournament in College Station coming up here later this summer. But that is all the news that's fit to print. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com, TexasFootball.com, where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football recruiting, all across the Lone Star State. Can I get the one shot, please?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can you change to the one shot?
Boom.
Thank you. Hi. Do you know what Sunday is?
Mother's Day.
Sunday is Mother's Day.
Correct.
If you don't hear another word I say the rest of the show, Sunday is Mother's Day. Don't screw this up. Don't. Start now. And I know what your mom wants. That sounds like an insult. It's not. I know what your mom wants, though. She wants a subscription to Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become a Dave Campbell's all-access subscriber. You get 3 magazines, the Summer Edition, the Recruiting Edition, and Texas Basketball Magazine, all mailed to you before it hits newsstands. You also get a year's worth of exclusive online content at TexasFootball.com and Texan Live, TexanLive.com, for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, including actually thousands of Texas high school events, hundreds and hundreds of live Texas high school football games streamed on your device, as well as hundreds of Texas high school football playoff games streamed on your device. Go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe for the low price of $49.95. Get your mom what she wants this Mother's Day, a subscription to Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Now, word from our friends.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
The 83rd KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship, the most historic and prestigious event in senior golf, kicks off an unprecedented run of major championships coming to PGA Frisco over the next 11 years. From May 24th to May 28th, join us as the best golfers over the age of 50 compete to have their name etched on the Alfred S. Bourne Trophy. Past senior PGA champions have included true legends of the game like Sarazen, Snead, Palmer, Nicklaus, Player, and Watson. A limited number of hospitality, pro-am, and ticket opportunities remain available for you to be a part of the first major championship at PGA Frisco. And keep in mind, corporate clients and ticket purchasers at this May's KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship will receive priority access to offerings at future major championships held at PGA Frisco, including the 2025 KPMG Women's PGA Championship and the 2027 PGA Championship. Visit srpga.com for more information. Hi, welcome back to Texas Football Today here on this gloomy Monday, but it was not a gloomy Saturday.
No, it was not.
In fact, it was a beautiful Saturday as you and I and Ishmael Johnson and Mallory Hartley and our boss Adam went down to Waco. We trekked down to Waco for the 2023 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony presented by our friends at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We had the live stream up on TexanLive.com. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. We did an hour pregame show, Ish and I, with Mallory on, what do we call that? Roving reporter, sideline kind of stuff?
Banquet hall.
Yeah.
Sideline reporter, right. Mallory Hartley,
exactly. So we had a great time there, and of course, it's always fun to go down there to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. If you've never been to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, I love it. It's not just because there's a big Dave Campbell exhibit, but like I love it because I'm a nerd for that type of stuff. I always kind of walk through the high school football kind of section. There's a big wall dedicated to Dave Campbell and Dave Campbell's Texas football. There's always something I notice that's new every time. And one thing I found this year, I don't know if you walked through there, but there was a plaque that Dave got back in like the late 60s, early 70s. And it was in celebration for, and like a job well done plaque for him being the Football Writers Association of America president, which he was in the, I want to say, the late 60s. And that in and of itself is not all that rare, except that it was presented to him. It said on the plaque, presented by the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, really? I didn't see that side.
Yes. It was, it's just bizarre. But, you know, Dave contained multitudes. But it was great to go down there to Texas Sports Hall of Fame. It was a star-studded class. One of the things that I always love is that they invite all of the state champion coaches to come and be recognized. They get like a plaque from the Hall of Fame to celebrate their state championship, all the UIL coaches. And so we got to see a number of them. We got to see Claude Mathis. He commented on my shoes. Reginald Samples was there from Duncanville. Got to chat it up with him. I saw Mark Fannin, who's made it a habit there. We did see the Tom Landry Award. Tom Landry Award is an award given to a high school football team that like is considered to have like overcome adversity and like represent the best in Texas high school football. It went to Albany. Now Denny Faith was going to be there regardless because they won the 2A Division II state championship.
Right.
But he was also there to accept the Tom Landry Award on behalf of Albany.
His little speech was really good.
So I chatted him up a little bit, and I said, this is a tough invitation to get. And he said, yeah, I've been trying to get an invitation for like 30 years. Like, yeah, I bet you have. So it was a great night there.
It's really cool, real fast, to see all of those coaches sitting together.
Yeah,
because they put they're split up between two tables because there's 12 of them, and most of them bring a wife or a son or whatever. But it's really cool to like just observe them just talking ball together. That's one of my favorite parts about that.
Yeah, it was like Mitch Abels was sitting next from Hawley in 2A Division I was sitting next to like Tim Buchanan, who I actually didn't get to talk to now I think about it. I saw him. But Tim Buchanan, who's been to this thing a million times because they keep winning state championships. But it's very cool that they all kind of get to interact. And then we got on to the induction ceremony. And if you didn't know, the inductees, Bert Clark was inducted for. They go by decade.
Yes.
So because they want to spread it out, because otherwise, like it kind of helps to fight recency bias, I think, which is really good. So they in the 1959 and before, they inducted Bert Clark. Bert Clark was a star linebacker at Wichita Falls, a two-time All Big 8 linebacker at Oklahoma as well. Went on
Big
to be
8.
Yeah. Went on to be the head coach of Washington State for a minute. He accepted posthumously. His son was there and gave a very nice speech on his behalf of his family. In 1960, Bobby Wunsch went in from Jesse Jones High School in Houston. He was if you know that name, you're probably a Texas Longhorns fan because he was incredible in high school. Was first team All-State and led them to the quarterfinals despite going 5-7-1. But he was a linebacker that transitioned over to offensive line at the college level and was like the anchor of those two back-to-back state or national champion Texas teams, 1969 1970. So if you know the name Bobby Wunsch, you probably know him as a Longhorn. And his son got up there and gave a very nice speech on his behalf as well. Patrick Rocket was there. Patrick Rocket went in for the 1970s from San Antonio Lee High School. He was the #1 target for Tommy Kramer for those incredible San Antonio Lee teams. And then he went on and he was a star baseball player. Actually got drafted 10th overall in the 1973 Major League Baseball draft. And played a couple seasons for the Braves. But he was, but in the high school football world, he was known as one of the toughest covers in Texas high school football in the 1970s. There at Robert Lee High School in San Antonio. So Patrick Rocket went in for the 1970s. 1980s, it was John Henry, and I made the point on the pregame show, whatever you want to call it, pre-ceremony show, that everyone in Lorena is thinking, what in the hell took you so long to put John Henry in the Hall of Fame?
The talking with all the Hall of Fame board members and stuff, they were super excited for that one because they were like, finally we got our hometown guy in, you know.
This guy led Lorena to that state championship in 1987 as a sophomore, and then put together incredible seasons as junior and senior. He finished with 533 career points. He was a 2-time Waco Trib Super Centex Offensive Player of the Year. He played at Baylor, scored 17 touchdowns for the Bears. He was a super duper star. And yeah, in Lorena, he's like the king. And so everyone in Lorena, I'm sure, was just like, yeah, of course he needs to be in. Like, he should have been in 20 years ago. What's wrong with you people? And then, like, I would probably draw a line here and say, then we got to the two players that, to be real honest, people in my generation, people in your generation, people in the maybe in generation before me would recognize. One of them in 1990s, Leonard Davis. Leonard Davis, you probably know as the offensive lineman for the Cowboys, an All-Pro offensive lineman or Pro Bowl offensive lineman for them.
Literally the largest human I've ever seen.
Before then, he was a superstar, a two-way star at Wortham at the 1A level. As a senior, a 6'6", 340-pound senior, he moved over to linebacker. Do we have the photo? We can't get it up in time, probably. We'll have a pre-show tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Mallory Hartley did an interview with Leonard Davis. You can find that on TexanLive.com. You can go watch the ceremony. And Mallory is smallish, but she's not tiny. She's not like my wife is tiny.
Yes,
right?
yes.
My wife is tiny. Mallory is small, but not.
Yeah, she's probably 5'3", 5'4".
She's on the lower side of average, but in the fat part of the bell curve, right?
Yep.
Leonard Davis makes her look like an infant.
Literally. If Mallory would have put on the suit jacket that Leonard Davis was wearing, one, you wouldn't have been able to see Mallory, but quite literally, I think if she actually put it on, it would have touched the floor.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking. He's a large man.
And I was talking to Ish about it. Like, I mean, I've been on the court with NBA players before. I've been around professional football players before. Like, they seem really big, you know, but Leonard Davis is not only gargantuan when it comes to height. He's just a big dude.
But here's the thing. And they include this in his bio that he moved to linebacker as a senior, okay, for Wortham. They went 0-10 his freshman year. They went 11-1 his senior year. Okay, so obviously a big part of that. He had an 81-yard interception return for a touchdown. Can you imagine
that barreling down
to get at 1A?
Yeah, no.
Trying to tackle him in the open field?
No, because I mean, you could put him on a Duncanville or North Shore team right now, who we consider like the largest, most physical guys out there, and he would still look big.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine at 1A. I would cry. Like, as a mom in the stands, I would be like, no, get out of the way.
No, there were certainly some business decisions that were made.
Yeah.
Okay, of like, you can just score.
Yep.
And then also, of course, he was a star on the. He led them to the state championship back in 1980 or 1997. He led them to the basketball state championship as well. And then in the 2000s, probably the most recognizable name, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford was went in for the 2000s, of course, the star at Highland Park. Now he's Super Bowl champion. He was incredible at Georgia before then. I made the point on the show that like we don't appreciate that he was part of that revolution that really made the passing game in Texas incredible. You know, it made it the coin of the realm. I mean, he threw for 4,000 yards as a senior, and he was like the 15th player to do it in Texas high school football history. And since then, it's been done like 87 more times.
Yeah, and it's not just that too, but I think even in his time in the NFL, he's been really known as a guy that's like a really powerful thrower, and I think that he kind of revolutionized it in the way of just, hey, this passing thing works, but also you can just, rev it back and let it go.
And what I thought, it was very clear that it meant a lot to him to go into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. He was there, I guess I should say. Like, all these guys were there, with the exception of Bobby Wunsch and Burt Clark, who were unable to be there for health reasons, and Burt Clark had passed away. But but Matthew Stafford was there, which I thought was cool, because he's still active. He's still an active NFL player.
Yeah.
And so he was there and signed autographs and shook hands, took pictures and stuff like that. And it was very gracious. It obviously meant a lot to him. There were two other players who went or two other coaches rather, who got the Eddie Joseph Texas High School Hall of Fame Coach Award. Tom Kimbrough from Plano High. The stadium's named after him.
They have a national like Tom Kimbrough Day in Plano.
Oh yeah, he's a big deal. He's the king over there in Plano High. He was extremely he gave a very nice speech. He was extremely gracious to our boss Dave Campbell.
Yeah.
And just said that he was somebody that he really admired, and I thought that was really nice. I went and talked to Coach Kimbrough afterwards, and he's such a gracious man and certainly deserving going in the Hall of Fame. Same goes with Dennis Alexander. Dennis Alexander, the head coach at Dangerfield, Henderson, Harleton, Hugh Springs, and Troop. But let's be real, he is best known for being the head coach of the 1983 Dangerfield Tigers, who are widely considered to be the greatest high school football team, at least in Texas history, arguably in national history. They gave up 8 points all year. They were incredible. So that was so Dennis Alexander went up there and, as I told him afterwards, did a stand-up comedy routine. He was letting it rip, man. He had some zingers.
Yes, he did.
He was, but it was a great night. Also, the Dave Campbell Contributor to the Game Award, which is an award that they give out to the to somebody who's not a player or coach, but basically who makes a key contribution to the game. Craig Way is in the Hall of Fame because he got the Dave Campbell Contributor to the Game Award. This year it went to Dr. Jesse DeLee there at San Antonio. He has been an athletic trainer and provided medical coverage for more than 1,000 games in San Antonio. Simply amazing, and
his speech was awesome.
His speech was great, and really very cool, and I love that the Hall of Fame does this, that they say, yes, there's players and coaches, but there are people around the game who make a huge impact as well. And Dr. Jesse DeLee, a long time coming in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. We mentioned the Tom Landry Award. There was also the Gordon Wood Award. The Gordon Wood Award. Is that right? Did I have that backwards? I think
you had it backwards.
Got the Gordon Wood Award.
Yes, and Tom Landry Award goes to an outstanding coach which was Mike Fullen from Abilene.
From Abilene, who has done a long-time defense coordinator, been the head coach there at Abilene for a while. Of course, has battled cancer and come out stronger on the other side. He was a recipient of the Gordon Wood Award, or the Tom Landry Award. They're both like legendary coaches.
Yes.
But he got up there and gave a very nice speech as well. But it was a great night there at the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. We will have highlights up on our YouTube channel coming up here in just a little bit. But you can go watch the whole thing on TexanLive.com for free, by the way.
Yeah, we're going to upload quite a few different highlights from a lot of the speeches and stuff. But also, Mallory did do an interview with Matthew Stafford and
Leonard Davis.
So those will both be up. But yeah, it was a great time. We appreciate our friends over there at the Hall of Fame. They always have great hospitality. Tiffany and Mike Alexander and all of them. So
we got to see friends. David Wetzel was there from the Baylor staff. He's on the board there at the Hall of Fame. But David Wetzel.
And David Smoke did a very good job.
Yes.
Craig Way usually MCs the entire ceremony, but Craig was busy, I believe, with Texas baseball stuff.
In Kansas.
But David Smoke did a fantastic job MCing it. It was fun to listen to.
Smokey was great. We got to see Dr. Charles Breithaupt. there from the UIL. Our friends from the THSCA with Glenn West and Joe Martin were there. I saw Brian Polk there as well, but I did not. He was too busy glad-handing and big-timing me. But yes, it was a great night there at the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony in Waco. We appreciate them having us out and allowing us to point our cameras at them. That's they don't have to do that, but we're very happy that they allowed us to do that. So we appreciate them making that happen. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts?
I think we have a show every day this week.
What a treat!
The first time in a long time.
What a treat!
We might have to record one of them, but we should have a show every. So we're trying.
So for those who don't know, I guess I should just tell you. So we send the magazine to press on May 26th.
Yes.
That is 2 weeks from this Friday. So we are in crunch time right now. We are working, burning the candle at both ends, pedal of the metal, midnight oil, all of the different metaphors and idioms that would go along with that. So that's why we've been a little bit busy, why we may look a little tired, why we may be, a little Pickle might yell at me this week. She might yell at me tomorrow during Math Tuesday, and that's why, because she hasn't slept much. So, but we are working hard on the magazine. It goes to press on next 2 weeks from Friday, which is simultaneously a long time and also, oh my God, I have so much to do. So it will get done. Don't worry. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. For Miss 305, Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tupper. Vince Young, please give me your Player of the Year trophy. We will see you tomorrow for Math Tuesday on Texas Football Today.